to the court for many reasons, but I see the tears before, I see the tears after, I get the hugs, I get the gratitude, but ultimately, because of you guys, we're able to do this work. So I hope and see that you guys can relate, and it tears at your heart, because Wilson County is doing a huge impact. In the last few years, we have grown with your support in manpower and spacing, and I just want to say thank you for that, and thank you for that support, and I know we will continue to work together to reach the veterans in our community. So return on investment, total for fiscal year to date, 24-25. In my last report, I think we calculated, and I didn't want to overcommit, and I think it was at 3.2. Well, after doing our reporting, again, I know we're missing a lot already, but we hit 4 million. I thought that was a fair place to kind of stop, and I was pretty overwhelmed in trying to document this monetary value, but $4,035,542.83. That is about almost half more than last fiscal year. I think we're at like 2.3 million within our first year, and that first year was a trial. It was trying to figure out what is the need, and then trying to implement some new policies and procedures on how to service this county specifically. So we exceeded our department budget this fiscal year by 3,187%. Our target goal for this fiscal year that I put in place last September was at 1.5 million. So that was the goal I was trying to reach, as it's one person filing claims. And I thought that was a fair goal. I didn't know what we would be at. So we completed that goal, and we exceeded by 269%. One thing I want to talk about really quick is the overall total, since I've taken the Veterans Department over, would be 6 million, and this is not on the slide, $387,438.86. And it's just 2 years with 1 year of our procedures and policies. Now our dynamics since August of 23 have been changing, with personnel and how our office is working. We haven't had something consistent, so I look forward to having something more consistent within our manpower. That way we can have a better projections for the future. One thing I want to talk about too, on the return on investment, I think this is great. I mean, one of the testimonials just for today, a 6-figure back pay for a veteran. That's amazing for the veteran and his family, amazing. But how does this impact us as a community? And I want to shed light on the economic impact in the county this does, the value that it brings. Veterans are buying homes here in Wilson County. Veterans are supporting local businesses here in Wilson County. Veterans are starting businesses in Wilson County with that income that is now coming into their pockets. So I just want to shed light on that and the importance of our services not only impacting veterans and their families, but the community as a whole. So projections for next, for next fiscal year. So we're trying to do constituents serving 500. This is resulting in action. I think the first were around 500, and then we came down just under 500. So I think consistently 500 is a good number, as there's only one service officer providing claims assistance for that. Total constituents served, I put 2,500. As dynamics are changing in the office, and we're trying to, again, we don't have something consistent in the last 2 years, but we're still working with what we have. And the ROI in the monetary value, I'm putting it up from 1.5 to 2 million. We've had to, cut back on the throttle a little bit in the beginning of this year. Bringing on a new program for the grant has taken a lot more on my area, where I have to provide and make sure that everything's in place so we can roll this out, which I want to shed a little bit of light on that grant, we've had our first person successfully get paid 3 utility bills. We have quite a lot of applications still pending, and we wanted to get more feedback from the Texas Veterans Commission as to moving forward on processing this. And we got that already, and we're excited to continue to assist veterans in financial capacity. Next slide, please. So goals, challenges, and vision. Again, emphasizing on Wilco GY6, so Wilson County got your 6, meaning we got your back for financial assistance. Again, this is not a monetary based program, and I want to make sure the public hears that, because sometimes we just need a slight assistance. With the holidays coming, people are not everything's about gifts, but sometimes that's a good thing to provide. And if we can help them in some type of utilities or mortgage or funeral expenses, maybe that can allow them some relief in other areas. Implement ongoing training and procedures to better manage. Again, with dynamics changing, we're constantly having to just change things, our planning and how we do business with our new office, with our personnel dynamics, now bringing on a full-time, a grant person under the grant, as well as our part-time person, still part-time. We're just managing those things as they come, and I'll be reporting as those dynamics are affected. So branding, marketing, veterans department. I think we've been doing a really good job. Our following on our social media has increased. We have a lot of interactions within our posts and our events. It's not just things our office does, but our partners are doing things happening in the community, even with Wilson County, and we're just constantly just showing and thriving in the social media and marketing area. One thing I want to talk about is our partnership. I didn't put it on our goals, but when I first came to Wilson County as an employee, because I live here, I saw there's a lot of veteran organizations that do great things here already, but I didn't see that they collaborated. So we put together the Wilson County Veterans Coalition, and we didn't create a board, there's no president. We wanted to make sure that this is something that those organizations want to be a part of, and we're not, making them, putting them in a box and making them be a part of us. This is something they want to do. And with that, the Wilson County Coalition has put on their first event. And that was, if you missed it, the comedy show. September's Mental Health Awareness Month, and we wanted to make sure that, or not make sure, but one of the best ways to address mental health is through laughter. And we did that. We brought on 3 veteran comedians, and we had a comedy show at the show barn. We had just under 100 people show up. I want to thank the Sheriff's Office for supporting us for that event. I think a couple of times as I was walking to the back when the Sheriff on duty was not taking his rounds, he was belly laughing. So it was great. It was a great environment. This event of that magnitude is not just for veterans. We had business owners, we have people coming from out of Wilson County to Wilson County for this event. So it was just something great to see, to experience, and I look forward to what the coalition has become and what they're going to do in the future. But those partnerships are just important enough for our office. Challenges, canceled and scheduled appointments. So this past, I would say within the last 6 months, not just the fiscal year, as I reported in our last presentation, we had a part-time employee that was able to flex some hours to work more than a part-time hours, and with that, we've had only 9 canceled appointments, because that person was able to call them a couple of days before or a day before, remind them, hey, you have an appointment, are you going to be able to make it? Being proactive, as to, because we are 3 months in advance already scheduled. So when you have an appointment 3 months in advance and you don't get an alert or anything like that, it's hard to remember to attend that appointment. So that's something we're going to miss the rest of this, starting with this fiscal year, and but that number has drastically dropped. I think the most was around 35 and the least was around 22 or 25. So now we're down to 9 for this last fiscal year. Personnel dynamics, as I've been emphasizing, is constantly changing. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the growth within our department, and we just want to say thank you for that. Training certification completed by Natalie Howarth. So she is now certified, as she has a year to certify. She has completed that under the year, I would say under the first 4 months she was able to do that, and this is just a lot of collaboration, seeing how our office works and training within our department. So our vision, self-sustaining, streamlined veterans department, adequate department to service growing veteran population, and the department's ability to offer more timely and accessible resources. Wilco GY6 is addressing a lot of those resources. I was at an event where I got to receive, and I should have brought it today. We have a big check, you know, the $215,000 check, and it's sitting in my office. And when I went to go receive that check, I was able to, you know, talk about our services and how there ain't many veteran services in Wilson County. But with this grant, it allows us more services to provide. So with the constituents we see resulting in action, I expect that to be increased. We're shooting for 150 constituents being helped through the grant itself. One last thing, because that is the end of my presentation, but the comedy show, we also had the Vets with Vets calendar. It's like 2 years in the making. Really because of specific sponsorships that we received. We just want to appreciate those sponsorships and say thank you. This was able to happen. So this is the Vets with Vets, Veterans with Corvettes. Veterans that live in Wilson County, we partnered them up with a Corvette. We captured them. As you can see, we have the Lavernia Memorial, Floresville Memorial, and I didn't want to miss, of course, our Wilson County Courthouse on here. And we have just people from Wilson County veterans partnered on there. We put them in the calendar, and this is something that can be purchased through a nonprofit, one of our partners, and once verified, you can pick up the calendar from our office. So you can contact Coffee Cars and Veterans, or you can contact our office on how to get one. But we dedicated this calendar to Mrs. Joanne Hale, which was she was at the Frank Tejeda Veterans Home. I got to help Mrs. Hale actually file her claims. Sadly, she passed in the process. We wanted to capture her on here and dedicate our first calendar, because we will start another one for next year, January, start looking for sponsorships. She joined the service when women were not allowed to join the service. So she joined the Army Women's Corps, and we just want to capture her and have something that they can remember her by. We are $25 if interested. And with that, I will say thank you guys, and that's the end of my presentation.
Good job as always, Ray. But I need to ask you a question. I'm getting some phone calls from veterans about tinnitus. Are they going to stop? That's a 10% disability rate. What's happening in December now? They're saying that you need to come in and put your disability claim in.
Good question. So there's, with tinnitus, there's other things that are changing, but just to address tinnitus itself. So right now, currently, tinnitus is ringing in the ear, and hearing loss is obviously just hearing loss. They currently have them as separate ratings, but I'm not sure what date or if it's December. At some point, they want to combine it, because before veterans can have hearing loss and get a 0%, and veterans would be kind of upset. Like, how is it possible the VA will give me hearing aids and give me a 0%? And the criteria to be compensated for hearing loss is slightly higher than the criteria to just be given hearing aids itself for healthcare purposes. But to your question, Judge, they're just going to combine tinnitus and hearing loss together. So you'll no longer see 0% for hearing loss, and you'll now see just 10%. Typically, they have tinnitus, and hearing loss can be a 0%, but with tinnitus would be 10.
So for everybody, other veterans that already have that claim, it's given to them, they don't need to worry about it. It's just going to change in December. Even
when it changes, they're still allowed tinnitus under all that. So there's no rush for it. It's just, I think, people talking, you can get it before or after. It's not something that will be affected. It's just now combined together.
I can't see how anybody that went through any of those services didn't come out with that disability. We never wore anything back then.
So I used to say that every veteran shoots weapons, right? And until I started running to veterans, I've never shot a weapon in service. Back then, currently, and I didn't know that was a possibility. But I do know that every veteran is exposed to noise in some fashion. So whatever their job is, I tailor noise exposure to that, because typically everybody has it, even the cook. At some point, is somewhere around noise. The person in the engine room on the flight deck, it's not just the rifleman in combat itself.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don, any other questions? Thank you, Ray. Agenda item number 10, we have this Evelyn Huron and Jalen Waterford discuss and take action on changes to the employee handbook regarding employee identification badges and employee notification, emergency and security.
I don't know anything about this. I believe this law firm about this morning. I don't know if she said she was going to send somebody else, but I'm not aware of this.
So with this, what I know of it is kind of what we've been going through with our security. And the reason we have employee badging is if anything comes up, we as employees of Wilson County can be identified with a badge. Road and bridge crews will have it. They can put it on their wallets or whatever. Just different ways to identify. And so whenever they're in the courthouse, we know who our employees are as well, because we've got a lot of employees that are not in the courthouse as well. So any type of emergency, whenever we're at the EOC or doing anything like that, we can be identified. Whenever y'all did COVID at the show barn for those years, I wasn't here at that time, but you can identify if we ever have another crisis with something like that. You know who these individuals are. That's the whole purpose of bringing back the badging. We've had it in the past. We're bringing it back. What we do ask is the elected and/or the head of the offices make your employees badges now. We can get a link out. Ms. Stafford and HR can send a link out. So you can start putting all your information in there, put a picture in there, and then Ms. Stafford can print those badges for us, okay, at the EOC. On top of that, new employees will, whenever they join Wilson County, as an employee, HR will do most of that and get those badges made. Right? So that's where we're going with those.
Cindy, is there anything else you can add to that?
While you're walking up, did y'all get a chance to read through the policy?
I have not read through it all.
Okay.
I looked at it. I don't like putting the onus on the employee for providing the picture, especially the field crews. I mean, they have no access to computers. We're going to have to figure
We're going to have to figure out how to take a picture of that.
some of this stuff out.
That was one thing I keyed in on. The other thing is that whenever it deals with the lost or damaged badges, report it to Human Resources. I think they also need to report to their department head, because if this becomes an issue where every couple of months same employee is losing something, we need to be able to have that off. Go ahead.
Yeah, we need to figure out, because we would have to be the ones that say you need to charge them for it or not. I mean, there could be instances if we're out in a hurricane or something that they lose it. I'm not going to hold somebody responsible in that scenario if they're out trying to clear a road or something, that their badge got snagged and they lost it. I don't think they should have to pay for it. So I think there's a little bit of work against it.
So I'm not sure when the policy was written. I think Ms. Huron and Jalen.
I haven't seen anything.
So
on
I'm
the
not sure
policy,
we
so I
can
don't think
make those tweaks. I know we discussed on my side replacement badges, not necessarily for all employees, but anybody that's going to have HIV badges. Those are $8 a badge, and so if we provide one to the employee, that's great. But if they lose it, then I would think the employee should be responsible for replacing it, because those badges are expensive. The normal badges, they're very cheap. I have a lot of those, so that's not a problem. It's just, I believe district court's going to HIV badges fairly soon, so anybody that's gonna be doing that access control card, the sheriff's, EOC, those are expensive, so that's kind of where the cost was coming from. Taking of the pictures, actually, we can help accommodate that. I actually do it from my cell phone. I have a digital camera, and it's harder to get the correct ratio on the picture to get onto your badge, so really just maybe taking it with their cell phone. Y'all want to send them to my office or Jay Lynn's. It's going to be cumbersome in the beginning, but after we get everybody badged, it shouldn't be a problem. The big portion of this is the mass notification. We've been using the system for 17, 18 years in place before I started here with the associate. But we need to set this up for county employees. So if the judge decides it's a bad weather day, we need to close, it's not left on HR and the judge's assistant to make all of these phone calls. I can do it, the judge's office can do it, Jalen can do it through the app on our phones. It will go email and text message to let people know. Or if we do have another lockdown like we did after the Sutherland Springs incident when the vice president came, it's not them trying to call everybody. It's one text, one email, and it goes out to all county employees. So the information needs to be that when they put their email in, it should be the county email, but when they put their cell phone in, it needs to be whatever they have with them, or they're not going to get those vital notifications that the judge sends out. So, and all of this is already in place. We've had it in place for, like I said, 15 years or so. So it's just a matter of people getting it and getting it off the ground, making changes to the policy. Shouldn't be a problem either, I'm sure they
Yeah, I see there needs to be some work on that, so why don't we take no action on this right now until we get this refined and everybody's in agreement that the policy's good.
That's great.
Because the other thing is how does an employee, how does he know what to do that he's up to date in the registration system?
I would assume they would let their employer know or their department head know. I can't see people's login information, but I have a button I can click to send it out. So what I've been doing.
What I'm saying is, I don't have it. None of my employees have it right now.
You have no employees on there, so they would have to register, but when I would.
But that's what I'm saying,
check
how
through,
do they do that?
they would tell you would tell me, hey, Joe doesn't know his password, forgot his password, and then I can send a link. Jalen will have the same access, it's not just coming through me. Jalen and the county judge's assistant will have it. So it's just a matter of reminding people. So I actually think I got anybody that's already in the system updated and corrected, and everybody in the appropriate departments, because we've had some employees changing departments. So anybody that's already registered, I've gotten them straightened out. So all we have to do is, Mr. Martin, you can call it. I don't remember my password. I hit a button. I can't see it, but
Yeah,
it sends you an
it
email.
remembers for you, yeah.
Yeah, so. it
So,
will tell
and
you.
then back to the badging, so all employees will have badging for ID purposes. So if we're gonna go to the trouble to write a policy for that, then it needs to include the badging or the access badge that's required to get in, say, the district court building or here or your office or whatever. Because that's different from the standpoint of, though there is a significant cost to those badges, and I understand that. So, but that needs to be added to the badging, I don't know what to say. Because, I mean, you could incorporate all that into one badge too. And now is that badge going to have their ID on it or their picture and everything, right?
My badge printer allows for the thickness of the card, so I just changed the thickness from the thinner ones to the HID, and it basically prints both sides. And the back side does have a QR code, so if you're out of county and somebody's like, what are you doing here? Because it's an emergency response. It's got a QR code and it will pull up all of the validity of that badge. So. But yeah, when Jalen gets
Okay.
here, she can make those.
All right, agenda item number 10, we take no action until we get that result. Thank you. Agenda item number 11, we have Commissioner King, precinct 2, discuss take action on approving a resolution between Wilson County and government capital to purchase a 770 John Deere maintainer.
All right, so I went through the truck program. I trucked for one of my maintainers. And it's been accepted. So we've talked to RDO about getting a new maintainer. They have gotten us one. We went through government capital to actually go through and finance this, and we have a resolution to adopt.
We do. So the chart program is going to reimburse us, I believe it's $204,000, and that will be reimbursed to us after we purchase the equipment and destruction of the old equipment. We've gone through the truck program before, if you remember, through for the Volkswagen trucks that you guys purchased a few years ago. So because we're financing through government capital, they do require a resolution. So Judge, I'll read the resolution now. A resolution regarding a contract for the purpose of financing the loader. Whereas Wilson County, the county desires to enter into that certain finance contract by and between the issuer and Government Capital Corporation for the purchase of financing a loader. Whereas the county desires to designate this finance contract as a qualified tax exempt obligation of the county for the purposes of section 265B3 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended. Whereas the county desires to designate the county judge or the county judge designee as an authorized signer of the finance contract. Now therefore be it resolved by Wilson County, Section 1, that Wilson County will enter a finance contract with GCC, Government Capital Corporation, for the purpose of financing a loader. Section 2, that the finance contract by and between Wilson County and GCC is designated by the issuer as a qualified tax exempt obligation for the purposes of Section 265B3 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended. Section 3, that Wilson County appoints the county judge or the county judge's designee as the authorized signer of the finance contract by and between Wilson County and GCC, as well as any other ancillary exhibit, certificate, or documentation needed for the contract. And Section 4, that should the need arise, if applicable, Wilson County will use loan proceeds for reimbursement of expenditures related to the property within the meaning of Treasury Regulation 1.150-2 as promulgated under the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended. And then it reads that this resolution has been passed upon motion made by and seconded by with a vote and the effective date. And just so that you know, Commissioner King opted for 4 annual payments, I believe.
So it's 5. No, it was 1.
I think it was 4, and the way this financing will work is government capital wrote the finance contract so that when we get the $204,000 reimbursement through the CHART program, we will actually turn around and utilize that money to make the first annual payment, which won't be due until a year from the time we get funded. So the way government capital's financing works is they actually fund the entire purchase price to the county. So we will get a total amount issued in payment to us. That'll get sent to the treasurer's office, and then we will turn around and send the payment to the dealer. And then in full, that property then becomes ours, and then we use the $204,000 reimbursement to make the first payment a year from the date of funding.
I'm looking at the cover sheet. Did you say you're going to make 3 payments after the down payment? You're going to make 4. So
4 payments total.
okay, and I mean 4 payments total, but the way they have it listed, I think what you're saying is you're going to pay the $204,000 and then the $63,000 per year because that's 3 payments and the down payment.
But we're doing the 4-year.
Okay, you're going to do the 4.
So
I just
that's
want to know.
1, and then the remaining payments would be the $48,000.
All right, I'm circling that.
The other question I had is, the resolution says loader, the agenda item says maintainer, so,
Which it's a maintainer, not a loader.
yeah, so that needs to be changed.
Correct.
Okay. I can get it to change it, and then you can sign it afterwards once you approve it.
Okay, all right. All right, I'll entertain a motion on agenda item number
I'll make the motion to approve the resolution between Wilson County and Government Capital to purchase a 770 John Deere maintainer with the corrections on the resolution.
Motion made by Commissioner King, seconded by Commissioner Martin. Do we have any other discussion on agenda item number 11? Here none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. All right, we need to get that.
Yes, I'll call to here shortly and have it resend.
Agenda item number 12, we have Mr. Brandon Trevino, our county auditor, to discuss and take action on applying for the fiscal year 26 state Homeland Security Program for the Office of the Governor for the Sheriff.
Yes, so we were just notified last week, the grant opened up on September the 11th. This is through the Office of the Governor and funneled through ACOG. The grant deadline is October the 10th. There is no matching requirement from the county. The application must support border crisis response and enforcement. Some of the eligible areas are staffing, training, overtime, facility upgrades, etc. I did send the sheriff all of the program information to allow him to review it to determine whether or not this was something that he wanted us to pursue, because the deadline is October the 10th to submit the application. This is through the Office of Governor, where we currently have our Operation Lone Star grant as well. And so I asked the sheriff to review it, to let us know by today so that we would know how we're going to proceed. And he opted to proceed, so I asked him if he could speak to that to explain to the court what it will be that we will be applying for.
Because of the fact that it does mirror the OLS grant quite a bit, and the fact that the legislature required sheriff's office to enter into the 287G with immigration, ICE, we may need more personnel to fulfill that. And this grant is what I would look forth to ask for another person just for that purpose, is to have that person that would be able to fulfill any requirements ICE may have of us. And I'm going to need to do that anyway. So this will give me the person. I'll be basically granting another personnel and equipment in order to function that position.
When will you receive the grant fund?
It won't open up, I believe
They don't have to think about it. Probably
Yeah.
won't open until early next year.
the funding is, earliest project start date would be January of 26. So
How would we code that? Just put it under?
if we were awarded the grant, I would create another fund, just like I have for Operation Lone Star. The sheriff would know that any person that he hires would be 100% grant funded, and so should the grant funding go away